Well, what's going on there? Well, he's talking about his personality, and he's never met him yet. So Jesus says to him, I'll tell you this. The day is coming, and now is at hand, when you shall see the angels of God ascending and descending on the Son of Man. Now, in that description, in that little statement in the New Testament, Jesus is saying that he is the latter. So I could repin this whole Aleph thing again with 3 words, could I not? And I'll draw it again. And there it is. And at the top we have God. At the bottom we have man. And the bridge. The bridge is Jesus. And this is why the rabbis could teach, even without knowing the fullness of it, that if you just teach your children the Aleph Bet, you can teach them about intimacy with God. Well, that's only 1 letter. We have to do another letter, do we not? Because it's the Aleph Bet. And if I write the Aleph like I just did, and now I'm going to write a Beth. And this is the Aleph and the Bet together. That Bet simply means house. So if you're going to go into the house of God, you have to do so by way of a covenant. The bridge has got to be crossed so that man can get to God and God can get to man. Because there is no redemption of sin without the shedding of blood. Now the minute, and I'm going to cross out the word for house, and I'm just going to show you this Hebrew word of. That word means father. Now, that's an interesting statement, is it not? Because in the New Testament we read, we've been given the spirit of adoption, whereby which we cry, Abba, Father. Does Abba mean father? No. Av means father. Abba means daddy. So what do you think of the difference just in your own life between the word father? Do you not see a stern disciplinarian that every time you make a mistake, he's going to spank you or ground you or whatever your dad did to you?
Daddy's a lot more personal.
Daddy is the one that you can crawl up into his lap and touch him and hold him. And this is so exciting to me. Because I remember when my oldest son was a little boy, and I like to watch football. So he would come and crawl up in my lap when I was watching the football game. No words were being spoken, but his little hands would come up to my face, and he'd just be stroking my face. And without even thinking about it or mean to, you know, I'd rub his head or I'd stroke his face. And you know there's a word in Hebrew that describes that, that's been translated into English, and we lose the meaning. Because Hebraically, worship means to crawl up into the lap of God and stroke his face. And to sense, feel, and know the communication of affection between the heart of God and your heart. You see, if God went to all the trouble from the foundations of the earth and built a bridge so that his heart could be connected with your heart and your heart connected to his heart. And provided that bridge so that two could come together and become one and walk in a place of intimacy, but never allowed you to sense or feel his presence in your life. How cruel would that be?
That would be cruel.
To crawl up in the lap of God and to stroke his face. And you see, now, what the rabbis were teaching the little Jewish boys and girls is, I know you're young. And it's going to take many years for you to master all 613 Torah laws, but just concentrate on the 10. And I know because you're young and you're going to have to work at even memorizing the 10. Let me give you an incentive to help your learning. Learn the one. Thou shalt have no other gods before me. Understand that you went from Pharaoh's house into God's house. You went from a place of restriction to a place of liberality. Understand that if you can't get your head around all this, understand that I am the prime source in your life. I am the source of every good and precious gift.
So it's all about the Father.
It's all about the Father. But if you're young, whether you're young in age or I think whether you're young in spirit, sometimes because of our own upbringing, we have trouble understanding that. We have this mentality of God as one that is so stern and harsh and ready to pounce on us at any time we do something wrong, and it's just the wrong idea.
It's not that way.
So the rabbis teach, just come to the alphabet. It's strong enough, Dan. The alphabet is strong enough for you to understand the heart of God. That God and man have been separated by sin. But God makes a way. And he builds a bridge. They didn't know his name. They knew him as Mashiach, Messiah, the one that would come. And the statement that Jesus makes to Nathanael is an idea of culture and surroundings of language and history. That's not just a story in the New Testament about a man named Nathanael. It's the fulfillment of that which was established in Torah. When there was one that wrestled with God, with everything that was in him, and he lost. I often say this, that when Jacob was wrestling with the angel of God, and he was winning, the angel of God reached out and touched him in the hip. Threw his hip out of joint. He walked for the rest of his life with a limp. It's hard to trust people, don't you think, Pastor?
Yes.
If they don't limp a little bit.
Yeah.
See, we've been told that God is ready to hit us every time we do something wrong. And even the alphabet teaches us that God loves you. He's made a way for you to come into his house and function under his authority so that you can understand he's the source of every good and precious gift. He's not looking for a way to bash you over the head. He's looking for a way to stroke your face. And he encourages you to come and, through the person of Jesus, crawl up into his lap and stroke his face. And to feel and to sense and know the communication of affection between the heart of God and your heart. That's what the book is all about. And the intimate walk with God, he made a way. I'm forever grateful to him for what he's done. Not just the things that he's done, but I'm grateful for the things that he's done to make a way. Not so that we can go to heaven when we die. You know what that's like? That's like saying you married Annie or I married Joyce. And we won't have intimacy. We won't have a relationship until we're 65 and we're about to die. God's ours to enjoy every moment of every day.
And to have a relationship with Him and to be intimate with Him from the beginning.
There's nothing quite like hearing the voice of God, is there?
No, there's not.
So sometimes all of us in our humanness, we struggle with these things. But we have the Aleph Bet, a simple picture of the intent of God's heart, that He's reaching out to you. And all He's asking for you is to reach out to Him. Let the bridge, Jesus, be effective in your life. If you grew up with a hard taskmaster called God, let the Spirit of God replace that idea in your mind with the Hebraic idea that God simply wants you to come into His presence, crawl up into His lap and stroke His face, and to not leave until you sense, feel, and know the communication of a dad's heart to his son.
That's beautiful, Pastor. That is truly beautiful.
How would your kids feel, your boys, if they didn't know how much you loved them? What struggles have you just put them through in all of their life? And how much of a difference it makes just to know, no matter what I do, no matter what I get caught in, my dad loves me. We hope you've been ministered to today. That's our intent. That's our heart. Is that you understand that God loves you. He's in love with you. And His whole idea is to bring you into an intimate walk with Him. And your life will be profoundly impacted by His love. God bless you. Thank you for joining us today. Tune us in again, will you not? May God bless you.
Are broken, I can't fly anymore. Lord, my eyes are crying, I can't see through my tears. Lord, my heart is breaking, too much pain beyond my years. Oh Lord, you've got to save me from the depths of this despair. Oh Lord, you've got to help me, there's no one left to care. And He said, fly with your mended wings into your Father's arms of love. Fly with your mended wings, the heavens behold my love for you, so fly. They shall mount up with wings as eagles, and they will run and be weary not. They shall walk and not faint. They will fly with their mended wings into